Hello, friends, and welcome to Bottled and Bond, a discussion of the James Bond movies and lore alongside spirited companions. I am Mike Scott, and I have been watching James Bond movies for nearly 30 years, but have never really taken a deep dive into the history and lore of this film franchise. So, alongside my friend Charlie, we're going to delve into each of the 25 Eon produced movies. During this episode, we will be sampling and discussing several drinks that would pair nicely with this movie. Today, we will be talking about the seventh movie in the franchise, 1971's Diamonds Are Forever. So find your cigarette case, prepare your favorite cocktail, shaken not stirred, of course, and leave your hat at the door while we ponder this question. Should this movie be stricken from the record? This is episode 007. That's right, Diamonds Are Forever is episode 007. Charlie, welcome.
Thank you, Mike.
Excited about this one?
I'm always excited.
Our recording a week early because, as we said in the last episode, Charlie is going to be going out of town. So you're going to Austin, Texas on Monday. It was nice of them to wait till after Father's Day to send you on the road.
It was. Yes, I'm going to Austin, Texas. I've never been there, so hopefully that part of it is good. The working part will be working.
Yeah. 2 weeks.
Yes, 2 weeks.
I love the 2-week work trips.
Oh, so do I. But hopefully there's good music there. That's what I hear. So I'm looking forward to that. And of course there's good brisket, right? It's Texas.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of drinks today because I figured with this being the last Sean Connery movie, we might as well just go all out.
Well, if we must, Mike, if we must.
So we have a Don Benigno Fino Sherry. We have Heineken. We have a Francis Coppola 2021 Diamond Collection Black Label Claret.
Oh,
And
it has to be the claret. They
course.
really talk up that claret thing in the movie.
And then we have a special drink, the Dewar's 12-year, which was a drink that Sean Connery did commercials for.
Oh, okay. And he's Scottish, right? So,
Right. Got to do a scotch for the Scotsman.
yeah.
We'll pick the very crappiest scotch for when we do our bonus episode of Never Say Never Again.
Oh, because you consider that to be be a commentary on the quality of the actual movie itself.
I'm guessing it's not great. I mean, I've never seen it, so we'll
Oh,
see.
you've never seen it?
No, I have never seen that one.
I'm certain that I have seen that, but I don't remember what it's about.
Stay tuned, dear listeners. Let's start with errors and omissions. So we talked about Bond in the On Her Majesty's Secret Service book having an assistant. I think I said like Angela Goodnight. I was close. It's Mary Goodnight. But she actually does appear in a later Bond movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'll get to see Mary Goodnight. I didn't really talk about it. I said I was going to, but the fact that You Only Live Twice was came before On Her Majesty's Secret Service really messed up doing the plot of You Only Live Twice, the movie, compared to the book. So the book, You Only Live Twice, now that we've gotten through both of those, is basically him seeking revenge for Tracy getting killed.
Oh.
So he goes to Japan, and it's all about killing Blofeld.
Thus also the confusion about the fact that in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Blofeld acts like he's never seen him before.
Yeah.
Which, in the real order of the books, would have been true. And then when he sees him, in the second book, it made sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Very small error I made. I was talking about Desmond Llewellyn's appearance count last week. I said that he had appeared in 4 of the first 6 movies that we've done, but it's actually 5. That was just killing me, so I had
That's definitely a stat I totally noticed you getting wrong.
had to correct it.
Yeah, I noticed that.
News: the 4K set was released. I watched Diamonds Are Forever in 4K for the audio commentary, and it looks quite amazing on that disc.
So not just released, but you obtained a
I
copy
did.
of this for
I
yourself.
obtained the 4K Steelbook set.
Okay.
Yeah. It just
Fancy.
means they're fancy looking, yeah.
Yeah.
let's do the plot summary. Bond's stand-in searches the world for Blofeld. He eventually catches up to and most certainly kills him. Now he can focus on more important things like figuring out why diamonds are being hoarded. Bond meets the diamond fence Tiffany Case in Amsterdam, where they plot to smuggle diamonds into the U.S. After shooting craps with Plenty O'Toole, Bond eventually discovers the hoarding is being done by Jimmy Dean, the breakfast sausage magnate. In a shocking twist, Jimmy Dean is being impersonated by Blofeld and/or Blofeld's clone. After getting roughed up by the unambiguously gay duo, Wint and Kidd, Bond rescues the real Jimmy Dean and discovers Blofeld's nefarious plans using diamonds and lasers to completely disarm all the world powers. Bond rides a bubble to Blofeld's offshore rig, sabotages the command center, and yes, once again, ends up on a boat with the girl. At least this time it's a huge ship. But wait, there's more. Wint and Kidd attempt to serve Bond an explosive dinner and are dispatched in ridiculous fashion. Diamonds are forever.
That was pretty ridiculous how he defeated those guys. But, you know, what are you going to do? Right. What I noticed about that scene is I looked at that room on the ship and I was like, how do you get that room on a cruise?
Right.
Obviously, he's James Bond, but that was a nice, big deluxe room.
Yeah. So let's talk about the cast. James Bond is played by Sean Connery. This is the 6th of his 6 official appearances. We have Tiffany Case, played by Jill St. John, and I've got some nice little tidbits about her. Ernst Stavro Blofeld is Charles Gray. Plenty O'Toole is Lana Wood. Willard White is played by Jimmy Dean. Albert Saxby is played by Bruce Cabot. Mr. Kidd is Putter Smith. Mr. Wint is Bruce Glover. Felix Leiter is played by Norman Burton, the 5th different Felix Leiter, I believe, 4th or 5th. Dr. Metz is played by Joseph First. And then we have M, played by Bernard Lee. This is the 7th of 11 appearances. Q, played by Desmond Llewellyn. This is the 6th of 17 appearances. Miss Moneypenny, played by Lois Maxwell. 7th of 14 appearances. We have Peter Franks, played by Joe Robinson. And Shady Tree, played by Leonard Barr.
It's a great name, Shady Tree.
Leonard Barr, uncle of Dean Martin.
Really?
The old comedian guy?
Yeah.
That is Dean Martin's uncle.
Wild.
This was directed by Guy Hamilton. This is the 2nd of 4. The screenplay was by Richard Maibaum and Tom Mankiewicz. That's a very famous name. He's the son of a famous director, Joseph Mankiewicz, and he's the nephew of Herman Mankiewicz, who co-wrote and won an Oscar for Citizen Kane.
A movie I have not seen.
Wait till season 2 of our little experiment here. Production designer Ken Adam is back, 5th of 7. Theme song, Diamonds Are Forever, performed by Shirley Bassey, with music by John Barry and lyrics by Don Black. I saw a little anecdote about Don Black, and he met Spielberg, and Spielberg was gushing over the fact that he wrote this. He wrote the lyrics for this song. He said it was his favorite song of all time, Spielberg.
Wow.
Pretty cool praise.
I mean, it's a good theme song.
It is a good theme song.
Shirley Bassey knows how to belt them out. Rich
She
for
does.
his theme song is great. It's very memorable. This one sticks in your head.
Yeah. This movie premiered December 14th, 1971 in West Germany. All you kids out there, there used to be 2 Germanys, East Germany and West Germany. Maybe they still teach that in school. Who knows?
I went there when they were still separate. They had achieved monetary unification. The wall had come down, but they weren't truly fully to, one country yet.
I forget, did you get a piece of wall? Did you
Yes,
get
I have a piece of the
I thought
Berlin
you
Wall.
did.
And we walked into East Berlin, and it was bizarre. No ads, no neon signs, like just basically deserted looking industrial buildings. It was pretty wild, and it still had like the DDR signs up on the buildings and stuff like that. It was pretty crazy.
Those capitalist pigs got what they deserved. Am I right, comrades? Austin Powers reference, so naturally. This movie opened December 17th, 1971 in the U.S., and strangely enough, it didn't open until December 30th, 1971 in the U.K. Budget of $7.2 million, so actually a little cheaper than the last few. The worldwide box office adjusted for inflation, 798 million. That's the 10th highest grossing Bond movie.
Wow. You know, those Brits must have been going crazy when they were reading all the reviews online about
Right.
that movie opening up in those other places first.
Yeah, they had to keep their phones off.
Yeah.
How's history with the film? I remember watching this one and being, well, we'll talk about it later. How about you? What's your history with this one?
I definitely remembered it. I mean, I will say I remembered the two guys for sure. The minute I saw Wit and what's the other guy?
Wint and
Oh,
Kid.
Went and Kid. I for sure remembered their antics
Yes.
from this. Like that was a very memorable part of this. And I remembered the Willard White stuff with him and the whole cowboy accent of Jimmy Dean and everything. Had he already started making the sausages by this time, do you know?
He bought or founded that company in like 1969. So it was like
It was
right
like
before
right
this.
before
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I mean, the company's still going, man.
It
Jimmy
is.
Dean Sausages.
It
It's
is.
probably owned by some conglomerate or
Oh,
something
I'm sure.
like that. But yeah, yeah. And I assume we're going to talk about the whole aspect of this of kind of being like Howard Hughes.
Oh, I have some interesting Howard Hughes tidbits. We'll get there.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So
yeah.
let's go to the scene by scene breakdown. So we open up with, wait, who's this guy in the gun barrel? Where's George Lazenby?
Right.
Unbelievable. So obviously Connery is back. We start off with a montage of someone that's definitely not Sean Connery interrogating a bunch of people around the world that may or may not know where Blofeld is. The first two had the famous stunt guy that's been doing stunts for Bond movies, from the beginning, Bob Simmons. He was the stand-in for the one in Japan and Cairo.
Okay.
But of course, Connery shows up when it's a woman that has to be interrogated.
I was going to say, so is it supposed to be some other person interrogating, or they
No,
just
it's supposed to be
filmed
Bond,
it
'cause,
without Bond?
Yeah,
Just-
Connery was overdubbed,
okay.
Smacking these people around, but that was
Yeah.
Bob Simmons that was there doing it.
Really wild.
Yeah. But there's a woman that needs to be interrogated. And we get our first glimpse of Bond, who looks like he's aged 20 years since On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Okay, I want to tell you the first thing I noticed when I saw his face. I was like, he looks way different. And the thing I noticed was his eyebrows looked big and bushy for some reason. His
Happens with age.
Yeah, they looked darker. I mean, he looked different when he first came in and you saw his face.
Would it blow your mind if I told you he was 2 years younger than I am now? He was 41 in this movie.
Wow.
That's crazy.
People in the old days looked older.
Yes.
I'm just telling you. Of course, also when you've got like a suit on and stuff like that, right? I mean, we don't do that stuff anymore.
So Bond approaches this woman who was previously like a Miss Universe, Miss World or something like that, and very, very cleverly takes her bikini off and starts to choke her with it. Now you get to see an actual nip. There's a wardrobe malfunction in this scene, and the reason they were able to do that is because they shot in the south of France, and you could get away with removing a bra without having censor problems.
Really?
Yeah, my line with that was, that's just typical disgusting French hedonism.
You ready to hear my story of being on a topless beach in France?
Of course, it was in France.
It was. I know, right?
Yeah.
Just as you're saying.
Well, I mean, I think I have to hear it.
Yeah, the same trip where
Yeah.
I went. We visited some people in Germany who my friend who I went with had done an exchange program, and we visited them, and we went to this like lake, I think, that had a beach, but this was close to the border, and it was right over the border in France, and all the French women were walking around topless. And we as Americans, our job was to pretend that this did not surprise us and that everything was totally normal. And as, 22-year-old recent college graduates, a totally normal occurrence for us to walk around on a topless beach.
Of course.
Yeah. So we didn't want, the Germans obviously could speak English. So my friend and I spoke to each other in Pig Latin all day so that we could discuss this very surprising turn of events without them knowing that we were stunned by what was happening.
I've got to ask this question in honor of the movie Home Alone. Is it true that French babes don't shave their pits?
I'm not sure I noticed any armpits that day,
You're too
Mike.
busy. You're too busy looking at
Believe it or
something
not,
else.
I'm not sure I noticed that.
Right. So now we move to Blofeld, who is getting some more plastic surgery, it looks like, but really he's just having other people turn into him. So I'm sure you noticed this, but if not, Blofeld is played by Charles Gray, who was previously Dicko Henderson in You Only Live Twice.
I know. It was distracting. Because you see him and you're like, oh, I've seen this guy already in one of these movies, and it is sort of distracting.
And even movie-wise, I mean, we're talking 4 years apart that they
Right.
did this.
Yeah.
So
He wasn't Telly Savalas.
no. I mean, I'm surprised that, Bond shows up, and I'm surprised Bond and Blofeld even recognize each other, since they look
I
nothing like they
know.
did in the last movie.
Exactly.
We get a fight between Bond and some henchmen. Who throws a surgical knife, honestly? Bond just flings 3 of those.
Yep.
Those would probably hurt, but I don't know that they would incapacitate people.
No, but I really don't want to find out.
Bond gets the better of Blofeld, ties him to a gurney, pushes him into this. It looked to me like the dip from Roger Rabbit, the dip that they used to kill Toons.
Oh, is that right?
Looked just like it.
To
Have
me,
you seen Roger Rabbit?
I have,
Okay.
but only one time way back when it was out.
Okay.
To me, it looked like something that would have been in the original Star Trek series, like some sort of, weird kind of substance that they find on some remote planet or something like that.
That makes
It was
sense.
pretty wild.
Get a brief spot of Mr. Bigglesworth wearing a diamond collar.
Yeah.
And then we go to the opening credits with the song performed by Shirley Bassey. That's it. And you're right. That is a good song.
It's a good song.
After we get the opening credits, we now go to Bond and M. I'm not sure exactly where they're at, if it's like an official diamond exchange or what, but they're looking at some diamonds. They talk a lot about cut and uncut diamonds. I don't know why they didn't say this, but apparently some women prefer them cut, others prefer them uncut. Meet a guy.
I saw that on your paper and I thought, did I miss them saying that? This is if Mike wrote the James Bond movie.
Yes. I'm hoping that this podcast gets me that. Gets me that
I
gig.
think it will.
We now meet a guy by the name of Sir Donald. This guy's cool. He drinks sherry and knows a lot about diamonds. They talk about the diamond supply. He makes comments about how incredibly secure the whole process is and that diamonds would never be stolen. While he's narrating this, we go to South Africa and we see exactly how the diamonds are being stolen. They're smuggled in by the workers through their teeth or something, and some dentist comes in and gets them out and gives those guys money.
Well, I guess the dentist, right. So that must be the mine dentist, right?
Yes.
Who's checking them before they're allowed to leave for the day, but he's obviously on the take
Yes.
from Blofeld to take the diamonds out.
Right. And with that, we go back to Sir Donald and M.
It could have been worse, by the way, if they were smuggling them in some other area and the proctologist was
Proctologist.
doing.
Nice.
I'm glad we didn't have to see that.
Yes. That's the X-rated James Bond. spoof.
Right. That's the one where your uncut joke is in.
We go back to Sir Donald talking with Bond and M, and there I think we will get our first companion beverage. We are now enjoying our Don Benigno Fino Sherry.
All right, I'm going to try this stuff. I feel like I've probably had sherry in my life at some time, but
Really nice smell.
yeah, interesting.
Very mild.
Yeah, it is mild.
It's white wine, like.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not something I
Yeah, it's fine.
normally drink anyway, but
No, I don't need to have it every day. I don't feel fancy enough to have it. It sounds like something fancy people would have.
yeah,
like
we're
James Bond.
pacing ourselves here, so we gotta
Yeah.
get these lower alcohol things. So now that we've had our sherry, Bond has his with Sir Donald. Poor M's not able to because of his liver. But Bond compliments the sherry by saying it's a 51, and M thinks he has one over on Bond for dating a Sherry, which has no age, but Bond was referring to the original vintage,
Oh.
1851.
Oh, wow. And they're in that office, right? That green office where they're talking to that guy. Oh, I love it, man.
It's a very nice office.
Yeah. I could definitely have an office like that.
Yeah. M is just getting sick of Bond and his know-it-all snobbery. He's kind of like Q now, where he just can't stand Bond. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I know.
So now we go back to South Africa. We have this is where they show, the dentist taking the diamonds to a
Looked like a mission.
to a mission.
Some
Well,
sort of-
actually no, he takes them. He's supposed to be meeting a helicopter out in like a remote area, and that's where we get the Statler and Waldorf, the unambiguously gay
yes.
duo. That's my other name for them. Kids Statler and Waldorf are two Muppets. They're the old guys that sit up in the balcony and laugh
On the
at
Muppet
everybody.
Show.
Yeah.
Very funny.
So this is where we get Mr. Kidd, played by Walter Becker of Steely Dan. Oh, wait, no, sorry. That is Putter Smith, who had never acted before and actually is a jazz musician. So the Steely Dan thing kind of checks out
Yeah,
there.
it's like a bass player or something, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Wint, played by George McFly's father, Bruce Glover, father of Crispin Glover. He actually, we announced in a previous episode, he recently passed away. He's like 92.
Wow.
Yeah, the scorpion was cool. So they meet with the dentist and put a scorpion down the guy's back, and he dies. And so now they have the diamonds.
Do scorpions really kill you if they sting you?
I
wonder if
think
it's
so.
like if they sting you enough times, maybe, or maybe
an
there
African
are...
scorpion.
Yeah, right. I
Could
guess
be.
we don't know. Maybe we'll have to look that up for next week and report back on that.
So now Wint and Kidd meet with the helicopter and are supposed to be giving them the diamonds, but instead there's some sort of bomb in the case and the helicopter
Oh, that's
blows
right. They
up.
give them the fake case.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once again, we go back to Sir Donald, kind of at this point finally getting Bond's mission, figuring out what he wants to do. They're trying to figure out who's stockpiling the diamonds.
Yeah, so based on this, are we supposed to think that somebody else was trying to smuggle the diamonds and these guys go and get the diamonds for themselves? So someone else was already smuggling them, the helicopter people, who we never really know who they are, right?
Right. Yeah, it's really weird because
So we don't actually know who's been smuggling the diamonds because it hasn't been Blofeld. He just gets the diamonds for this one specific purpose.
Right. But it's obviously been going on for a long time.
Well, I guess so. Yeah. And then they're like, well, we'll just steal it from these guys who are already stealing it. It's a good plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that plan.
So now we go to Kidd and Wint visiting some nice old lady, Mrs. Whistler, who is also involved in the diamond smuggling operation.
Yeah.
They give her some diamonds. She puts them in a Bible. And then we once again go back to Sir Donald, and he talks about a guy by the name of Peter Franks. Peter Franks is the guy that's supposed to be taking them to America from Amsterdam. So Bond gets sent to Amsterdam.
To become Peter Franks. I've been to Amsterdam too, but I don't really have any great related story for you. I'll just happen to mention it. It was on the same trip.
It's a cool looking place.
It is cool with the canals and so forth. Yes, it's very cool. It's a pretty odd place though. You know what they have there is the Heineken.
That's what I was going to say. I got to figure out, do we want to go ahead and get the Heineken?
Maybe we should.
I guess
They're
we
in
have
Amsterdam.
to.
I guess we have
we
no
have
choice.
to.
And they have the Amstel River there, which is, Amstel Light. Right?
But I wanted the crappiest possible beer. So
Yeah. I think Amstel Light's made by the same dudes.
Wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah.
All right, let's crack open this Heineken.
And I forgot, I do have a good movie-related anecdote from Amsterdam. So, I like the bottle opening sound effect. While we were there, we stayed in a youth hostel in a place I believe called Kempton, and it was like this castle. It was pretty wild. because we had stayed at a place downtown and it was like really bad. And so one night we decided to see a movie and we saw Back to the Future 3
Nice.
in English, but with Dutch subtitles, which it was very easy for me to ignore because I don't know Dutch. But that's where I saw Back to the Future 3. My one and only time that I've seen it.
Love those movies.
I know. See, I figured it's movie related.
You've seen that movie one time?
Yes.
So we're going to have a season of movies we've only seen once.
You know what's worse? I had never seen Back to the Future 2.
See, for me, because of when, I was 9 when those came out, 2 and 3.
Okay.
So
Whatever.
for me, it was, I don't think I had ever seen the original. When
Oh
I saw
my gosh.
When I saw 2 and 3.
Well, the original, of course, is amazing. And I had seen that in the theater because I could probably drive a car and take myself to the theater by that time,
Yeah,
Mike. But
you could, yeah. So we have Heineken Original Premium Malt Lager. I'm sure not many people are familiar with this beverage. Also sponsored in Austin Powers, by the way, where he says, "Get your hand off my Heine." Shameless product placement. I don't even think this appeared in Diamonds Are Forever, but I had to get something from Holland.
yeah.
Let's try this Heineken. I haven't had one in a while. It smells terrible, I'm going to be honest.
I mean, it's beer. It's pretty mild.
Tastes much better than it smells.
Yeah, there's nothing really offensive about it. It's fine.
I agree.
It's nothing, to write home about.
Right.
It was back in the day. Like when
yeah.
I was in college, we would have been living high on the hog if we had Heineken.
Heineken and
any
Miller High
import.
Life.
Yeah, any import would have been like, Beck's from Germany or something would have been a big deal. Yeah, it's not bad.
It's fine.
It's
I will
fine.
drink all that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Peter Franks. This is the guy, like I said, he's the one that's supposed to be getting the diamonds to the next step. But
Yeah, he's very unlucky in what his job was and that they knew what his job was and that James Bond is trying to impersonate him.
I found this scene kind of weird because he just like stops his car and then he just walks inside someplace and you just really don't have any idea what happened to him.
Right.
But apparently they arrested him. I don't even know if they explained that. If they did, I missed it. So he walks in, Moneypenny walks out, and this is the first time we see Moneypenny out in the field, like in an official capacity.
We saw her in a submarine.
That's true. We
but
have seen her in a
not
submarine.
out in public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she has her little banter with Bond. Moneypenny wants a ring when James goes to Holland, a diamond, maybe in a ring. And Bond asks if she'd settle for a tulip, and she has this broken-hearted look on her face, and she says yes.
They have a lot of tulips there in Holland.
So now we have one of the cooler vehicles of the Bond franchise, which isn't even anything special. I guess they were the main form of transportation before the Channel was built, and that's the hovercraft.
Hovercraft is cool.
It was very cool.
I mean, even when you look at it and you're like, oh, that's 1971. Like, it's pretty wild,
Yeah.
that gigantic, I guess, faster than a regular boat hovercraft. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did read that was the most efficient means to get across the Channel at that point.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Back in Amsterdam, because that was in England. Peter Franks they were still in England, and Moneypenny walks out, and Bond gets onto the hovercraft to go to Amsterdam.
And we see Jill St. John, right?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Once we get to Amsterdam, by the way, Amsterdam is nowhere in the book at all.
Oh, interesting.
Wait till the differences between the book and the movie. I think this is the one that it just deviates so much. I'll talk about those towards the end. So Whistler's mother is pulled from the water as we're going through Amsterdam, and we see that they drowned her. Kid and Wint are standing on the bridge watching them pull her body out of the water. I think they're also having like a romantic holiday. They clearly were gay. It was no question.
Well, they hold
about it.
hands.
Yes.
After the scorpion scene.
After the scorpion. Yeah.
So you assume, but they don't really like play it up or anything. You
Right.
just sort of, there's one quip later that we'll probably get to.
Yes.
But yes.
They were gay in the book also, but they
Mm-hmm.
also weren't big dorks in the
Yeah,
book.
they
They were
just-
just like henchmen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They just treat it as some normal thing, basically, but of note.
Now we have Bond going to visit Tiffany Case, and this is Jill St. John, our first American Bond girl. She had been acting since she was 4 years old. And here's the fascinating trivia about this, because there's like four
I'm
different
glad
connections.
we're going to get to this.
Jill St. John, she's still alive, as is her husband. Her husband is Robert Wagner. Robert Wagner is number 2 in Austin Powers.
Right.
Robert Wagner was previously married to Natalie Wood, the sister of Lana Wood, who is a Bond girl later in this movie.
Yeah. How did he and Natalie Wood end up breaking up, Mike?
I don't think I will get in trouble for saying this.
Well,
Although it's going to be
she
out in the
drowned.
air. Yeah, she drowned. There's a lot of
On a boat with him.
there's a lot of questions surrounding that whole thing. It was
There
her
are questions.
and Robert Wagner. Do you remember the third person on that boat? A later Bond villain,
Yes, but I can't remember his name. Go for it.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. And nobody else will ever know what happened on that boat and how she ended up drowning.
Right.
One of those things. But I would imagine Lana Wood probably is not a huge Robert Wagner fan.
She wrote a couple books. I don't remember reading anything specific about or what she said about that whole issue, although she did have some not very nice things to say about Kirk Douglas, and we'll get to Kirk Douglas a little later
Interesting.
because he's got a little bit thing in this movie. Not him personally, but something that's filmed. We get some back and forth between Bond and Tiffany Case. Tiffany she's changing her hair and she goes from brunette and then has a different hair color. And she asks Bond if says, so you don't like blondes? He doesn't care. And then we get quip number 1, providing the collars and cuffs match.
Does he really say that?
You didn't
How
hear
did
that?
I miss that?
Provided the collars and cuffs match. Modern day parlance would be the carpet matches the drapes.
Yeah.
Don't look that up, kids.
Yeah. First of all, who cares? But second of all, that's sort of not in good taste.
These days, a lot of people just like blonde women. Or, I'm sorry, bald women. Tiffany Case takes Bond's drink to freshen it up, put some ice in it, and also to dust for fingerprints. Because at this point, Bond is pretending to be Peter Franks.
Well, and that's her contact, but she wants to make sure it's really Peter
Make sure
Franks.
it's Peter
right?
Franks.
She probably was given some kind of that way, like, hey, when this guy arrives, you need to check him out.
And they don't do that in the book. He just says he's James Bond because I'll get to why
Oh,
a little
really?
later.
Okay.
Yeah. But she checks the prints, and of course they match to Peter Franks, so she's good to go.
So clearly, James Bond is Peter Franks.
Right. She comes out with red hair. Bond says, "I don't care much for redheads, terrible tempers." But that's her natural hair, according to her.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was her hair color.
Yeah,
That's also not a very nice thing to say about redheads.
right. They're people too. The Irish.
Yeah, my brother has red hair.
Well, there you go.
But I think it's like kind of looked down upon in Great Britain.
Probably because they don't like the Irish over there.
It's possible.
We just
I really
lost
don't
all of our
know,
British
but
listeners.
Yeah.
We're back at Bond's hotel. He's peeling off the fake fingerprints that he used to
Yeah, that was a good one.
trick
Yeah.
Tiffany Case. We get a little appearance by Q. Bond's talking on the phone with him. Q's very proud of himself for
For
those
fingerprinting.
fingerprints.
I mean, that's pretty good.
And then Q tells Bond that Peter Franks has escaped, so Bond rushes away because he thinks that Franks is going to go after Tiffany, and of course he does. Franks arrives at Tiffany Case's place. Bond outside making out with himself to look inconspicuous. My wife found that particularly funny. And then we get Bond pretending to be Dutch or something, and they get in the elevator together to go up to Tiffany's floor. Interesting little piece of trivia about this. The director, Guy Hamilton, they actually made that elevator really small on purpose because he wanted the fight to look different from a lot of the Bond fights because they couldn't like full on,
Yeah. Right.
wind up and punch each other and stuff. And it was cool. It's a good fight.
It is.
Eventually,
And it's kind of an old school looking elevator, which is cool.
yeah. Bond gets the better of Franks, gets him tossed over the banister, and then throws the fire extinguisher on him. He goes to check the body, and he swaps out the IDs. And
Yeah, that
Tiffany,
was a nifty trick.
it was. Tiffany looks at the ID on Franks and sees a very cool Playboy Club and Casino card, by the way.
I noticed
kinda
the
want one of those.
Playboy Club card.
Think you can still get one of those?
Mike, on the internet, you can get whatever you want. However, I highly doubt any Playboy clubs are left. But the fact that they existed is kind of hilarious.
My favorite fake membership card is I've never talked about them on this show, but the reason we're doing this podcast is because of a podcast that I listen to called 70 Millimeter, where they do a movie each week. And I have and our community is called the VHS Village. And we get, if you join their like patron thing, you get a VHS Village. It looks like a Blockbuster card. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
I still have several Blockbuster cards in the top drawer of my desk because
Sweet.
I don't throw away my various membership cards.
That's awesome. So for our millions of listeners that haven't listened to the 70 Millimeter podcast, I definitely recommend you check that one out. Those are good people. We are now at the airport where, I should go back a little bit. Bond and Tiffany are trying to figure, Tiffany sees the card and sees that it's James Bond. And clearly in the movie universe, James Bond is super well known because, Tiffany Case knows who that is, and Bond pretends like he does. And he was very proud of himself that he just took out James Bond. So they figure out, how they're going to smuggle the diamonds into the U.S. and they're going to use Frank's body to smuggle them on the plane.
Okay. They don't question why this guy is dead and how he got killed, and these other two people who were the only witnesses to, they just ship his body back?
Maybe
Everything's fine?
I mean, Bond was pretending to be his brother, so maybe somehow he,
I don't know.
he figured it out.
Yeah.
Figured out a way to
I
do
guess
it.
it was just too boring how they, got the authorities to... Maybe they just call up, he calls up M and says, M, call the Amsterdam authorities and don't have them look into this and just ship the body back.
So they put the casket onto the plane. Bond gets on. Case is already in there. We see Wint and Kidd on the plane also. And Wint talks about how he thinks Case is good looking. And Kidd looks like he wants to murder him for it.
He says, and then he says,
For
a woman.
Yeah. They arrive in the U.S., which I assume they arrive straight into Vegas. In the book, it's like they're in L.A. and then they drive to Vegas. But we'll just say they arrived straight into Las Vegas. Bond's taken away by customs, and this is where we get our, fourth, fifth, or sixth different Felix Leiter showing up. In the book, Felix Leiter is missing multiple extremities from an incident in the book Live and Let Die, which
Really?
I read apparently is a shark attack. So Leiter loses some limbs from a shark attack.
But we haven't seen the movie Live and Let Die, right?
We have not. That's the next one.
The book actually was before this?
The book was the second book, so it was
Oh, okay.
1953.
Now I have that song going through my head. Another great Bond
Wait till we
theme
get to
song.
that one.
Yeah.
Also in the book, Leiter is no longer working for the CIA. He's Pinkerton, which was a famous
Oh, interesting.
old
Like security agency or whatever. Yeah.
investigators.
Hmm.
I didn't pay attention that closely to what he said, but, Leiter's trying to figure out where are the diamonds. And Bond says a line, alimentary, Dr. Leiter. And this is in reference to the alimentary canal, also known as the digestive tract.
Yeah, I read that one later. And
You
of
did.
course I didn't catch it during the movie because I'm not a physician.
Right.
I'm assuming very few people actually get that when they hear it, but
I think the story was that Cubby Broccoli didn't want it in there, but the director absolutely wanted to keep it in there, and he got his way. And apparently they were at a screening, and there was like two guys in that screening that stood up and cheered, and Cubby Broccoli was like, stupid doctors. So now we're in the limo with, they put the body into a,
very nice
limo.
Cadillac hearse.
Yeah. with the label Slumber Inc. Nice
I
name
mean,
for a
great name
mortuary.
for a mortuary. Yeah.
So we're in the limo with some mob stooges, and these guys were just stereotypical doofus mobsters.
They really were, weren't they?
Yeah. Maybe you can answer this because my wife asked this question. Why isn't the coffin just loaded in the back? Why'd they put it in the front like that?
I don't know, but that was pretty wild how it has that thing that comes out and swings around. Here's my guess.
Yeah.
Maybe there are places where you go where it's difficult to take it out the back, and so they need both types of entrance and exit. But that was pretty wild, the mechanism that swings that thing in sideways and then makes it face the right direction.
So we arrive at the funeral home, Slumber Inc., owned by,
Good name for a funeral home.
well, it's owned by Morton Slumber, which I
Yes.
thought was pretty funny.
Yes.
The Peter Franks gets cremated. I hope that when I get cremated, I turn into diamonds for my family.
Yeah, they really showed what the oven looked like, didn't they? Like they got very detailed about showing going in there and the fire and everything.
Yeah.
It made me wonder whether that's actually, they were at a real funeral home showing that. Of course, they had to film it, which is interesting.
Yeah. So then Bond takes the urn and puts it in the crypt. So that's the drop off spot.
He tells him to go to the chartreuse curtain.
I know you wanted to say that.
I know that's probably the only way I know what chartreuse is as a color.
Yeah. We see Statler and Waldorf mourning nearby. They're putting some flowers on a crypt. And then Bond gets knocked out. And I didn't think he really earned that punishment.
Wow.
He gets
You're
knocked-
practicing for your quips
I
for when
really
you write
am.
your movie, aren't you?
Yep. That old guy, Shady Tree, comes in and grabs the diamonds. That character was completely different from the way he was in the book. In the book, he's just another thug. But in the movie, obviously, he's like a comedian or something. It was interesting.
Yeah, or something.
So he comes in and grabs the diamonds. Bond wakes up in the casket with all the fire and everything coming. That would be terrifying.
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to be in a casket.
And that's it.
That would be scary enough.
Yeah, and that's it. They fry him, and that's the end of Sean Connery.
I know. The funny thing is, even though I'd seen the movie before, I completely forgot how he got out of there. I thought to myself, how on earth could you possibly get out of there? And if you find your way out, you're going to be in the fire.
Right.
Can't be good.
How'd you like the quips from the unambiguously gay duo where they were like heartwarming?
Yeah.
Really bad.
They gave him a few, yeah.
So Bond's about to die, and then he gets pulled out because Shady Tree is pissed that the diamonds weren't real. So Bond is saved.
I mean, Bond is lucky they could check them that quickly.
Yes. And then Bond says he'll give him the real diamonds at a later point. So at this point, Bond is now back at the hotel in Vegas, and this is where we're going to do our next companion beverage. It's going to be the Dewar's 12 with soda.
All right.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers. As many times in my life as I've had scotch, I have never had scotch and soda.
Well, there you go.
My
Now
first
we've
time.
had scotch and soda.
Yeah.
It's good. It's fine. There hasn't been very many of these companion beverages that have like blown my mind, but it's fun to try new stuff.
I mean, we're old enough. Like, what's really left to blow your mind, Mike? I mean,
Yeah. I am excited when we get to Pierce Brosnan, who is Irish.
okay.
Get my favorite on here.
I know. But it's still not going to blow your mind because you've had Irish whiskey, right?
That's true.
So, I know. What's really left?
Now we go to the White House, which is actually a Hilton. And I read that, or I listened to like the auto commentary, and what they did was they did like matte paintings around it so that it looked like there was no other hotels around it. So when you see a shot of the White House, it's just a Hilton.
Yeah. Like they put those on the camera lens?
Yes.
So that, oh, that's wild.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So we see Shady Tree in there telling some great dad jokes. I laughed at those with his acorns.
Yeah, I didn't think he was very funny.
So here's where we get to the Howard Hughes stuff. Cubby Broccoli was actually good friends with Howard Hughes. So the cast and crew were treated like royalty out there with him being friends with him. One of the there was somebody that came in. And it was the writer. He was one of the writers that he was out there, and he was just in a standard hotel room because he wasn't going to be there long. And Cubby insisted that he be put into a nicer room, and they worked it out, and he did. But Howard Hughes, they let him film at his hotel. That was the one that
Okay.
Howard Hughes owned.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be honest, I'm not terribly knowledgeable of Howard Hughes. I know he was just like, one of those eccentric billionaire kind of guys. I've seen The Aviator. I probably need to watch it again because I know The Aviator is about him, but never somebody I've been too terribly familiar
No,
with.
I don't know much about him other than, of course, like supposedly he was a recluse living in the top of his casino hotel,
Right.
just like C. Montgomery Burns when he builds a casino.
Wow, we're like 50 minutes in before we get our first Simpsons reference. That's
I know.
crazy.
He does the same thing, and then he builds the Spruce Moose, just like Howard Hughes builds the
Spruce
Spruce
Goose.
Goose. Yeah.
We get to see Wint and Kid. They're chatting with Shady Tree. Bond is trying to find Shady Tree to figure out the whole, how they're going to pass the diamonds and the money and everything. And then we find out that Wint and Kid kill Shady Tree. So they just keep killing all the connections in this chain of this diamond smuggling.
Yeah, they might as well. They seem to be pretty happy about doing it.
Yeah. And now we get our second Bond girl of the night, Plenty O'Toole. So Plenty has a significant lack of acting ability.
Yes.
This is Lana Wood, clearly a Nepo baby. Her first acting gig was playing a younger version of Natalie Wood in a movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Although she was on the audio commentary, and my opinion of her went up just listening to her talk because she seemed like a cool lady. And, usually the smart people play the dumbest roles. So I think that was what it was. I was very disgusted in this scene with Bond playing craps with Plenty because he clearly kept staring at her chest. Like he would just look down multiple times during that scene.
Yeah, you
never
wonder
did it.
whether that was at directed to be that way or whether that was just his natural reaction. But that's one of the most iconic Bond girl names.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
She's not in the book.
Oh,
There's
really?
a lot of people not in the book.
Wow.
Yeah,
So the movie writers came up with Plenty O'Toole.
of course. So now we see the pit boss talking to Willard White, Bond asks for credit. He flashes the Slumber Inc. envelope, so they say his credit's good there, and miraculously Bond is good at craps. Have you ever played craps? I don't know the game. I don't know how to play that game.
I've never much gambled in my life,
No.
mainly because I don't understand it and I don't like doing things that I don't really have a good grasp on.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how that works. I know it has something to do with 7s and 11s, and that is the extent of my knowledge of
Right.
craps. But I thought the dubbing in the casino also just wasn't very good as far as the dubbed
Okay.
voices and everything just didn't seem that great to me. But, you know, it's a casino scene. You have to have one in a Bond movie, and they're staying in a casino. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah. So Bond and Plenty hit it off, and they go back to his hotel room. They were going to have some slap and tickle, which, I mean, we're way into this movie, and there's no slap and tickle yet.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
But the mob stooges are there again, and we get quip number 2. Looks like you've caught me with more than my hands up. Nice.
Wow. Yeah, nice.
So they grab Plenty, and they throw her out the window. It's a good thing Plenty had some flotation devices on her after getting thrown out the window, so she'd survived in the pool.
Nice.
I
That
did
was
like
quite a drop.
it was. I did like the old guy who was like, I didn't know there was a pool out there.
Yes, exactly.
So then we see Bond commit some elder abuse with that old guy, and they just leave. And he goes into his room, and Tiffany Case is in there waiting. It's really confusing who's on what side.
Yes, it is.
Like,
At this point, you're not really sure.
do they all work for Blofeld or what? I don't know.
I really don't know.
Because we'll get to the book at the end because there's so many deviations.
Yeah, and Bond just starts taking his clothes off.
As one would if
As one would,
if an
yeah, I
attractive
guess
ladies
so.
in your bed.
Yeah.
So we get Slap and Tickle number 1 with Tiffany Case. Just an aside, Jill St. John talked about working with Connery, and her quote was, and this was on the audio commentary, so this was her speaking. She said he was a real stand-up guy. And we'll get to that more, too, at the end with some trivia about him coming back for this movie.
Okay.
So they're trying to find out, or Tiffany Case is trying to figure out how she's going to get the diamonds, and Bond talks about going to the circus. This is the only Bond location I've ever been to, is Circus in Las Vegas.
Oh, really?
It's an absolute nightmare. It was probably a little more fun back then. It was, I went there when I was 20 years old and 11 months. So I was not 21 yet.
Oh, wow.
So we're at Circus. Bond and Leiter are checking things out. Tiffany's playing blackjack, and then there's a signal given to her, and there's a card that says you should go check out the water balloons. Not a reference to Plenty O'Toole. It's the actual water balloons. She goes and plays the water balloon game. Clearly is not hitting the target, but she wins anyway. She gets into a fight with like a 12-year-old boy who she then says, blow up your pants, whatever that means.
I didn't get that.
At this point, she gets her prize and walks away. We need to talk about the elephant in the room. Like the literal elephant in the room playing slots.
We really need a scene where the elephant walks in, takes its trunk, and pulls the lever of the slot machine.
Apparently, that was a very popular elephant in the 70s and 80s. Her name
Really?
was Tanya, and she did all kinds of cool stunts, and they had her do that. She was very excited when she won. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes.
So now we have Tiffany going to this incredibly racist little skit performance where they're turning a woman into a gorilla. That was not great.
Yeah, I thought that might not be too good. When I watched that, I thought to myself, I don't think they'd be doing that today.
Yeah. The mad scientist that was, talking them through it, the ringleader, that was actually the owner of Circus. He's like, you can shoot at my hotel, but I have to be in the movie.
Oh,
and they put him there. That's
all
him.
right.
Now
So that was an actual exhibit at Circus, that gorilla thing, do you think?
I guess so.
Probably was.
Yeesh.
Yikes.
Yeah. So now we see Bond out on the strip talking to Leiter. And then later, Tiffany, during that whole woman into a gorilla scene, there's a bunch of madness because the gorilla jumps out of the cage, which is clearly a person in a gorilla suit.
Obviously.
And all the kids run away. And there's one guy that's trying to tail Tiffany. And she gets through all of the madness, goes out the back, and then they lose her because they're trying to keep track of her to make sure they get those diamonds back. But she gets away. And then we see Tiffany ends up at I don't know if this was her house or a house he was renting. I don't know what house it was, but Bond's sitting by the pool and just sitting there while Plenty O'Toole is dead in the pool.
Yeah, she didn't last too long.
No. So this is the Kirk Douglas reference. That house that they filmed at, that was Kirk Douglas's house.
Okay.
And I had read that Lana Wood said that Kirk Douglas did some not very nice things to her sister when she was 16.
Oh, really?
It was in her book, so I don't know. You never know with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you don't. You never know what you'd do if you were super rich and famous, but
Doesn't excuse
I never
it,
had to
obviously,
find out.
But still,
Yeah.
So Tiffany and Bond are having a back and forth, and I mean, it wouldn't be a Connery Bond movie if he didn't slap a woman in the face. So he gives her a smack.
It's yes.
We see
It's necessary in so many situations I can think
apparently
of.
we get a brief scene at the airport where a porter is getting the stuffed animal because the stuffed animal had the diamonds in it,
Right.
getting it out of the locker and taking it to the doctor, Dr. Metz, who works at Blofeld's lab. So now we have Bond and Tiffany following in one of the best cars of the series,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Mustang Mach 1.
Mustang Mach 1.
Beautiful car.
It is a beautiful car.
All right.
Chasing a Ford Econoline.
Yes. I thought it was Econoline. I was going
Well, that's what it looked like to me. I'm going with it.
So Ford supplied a lot of the cars. The producers.
Yeah, they've had a lot of cars in
Yes.
these movies.
And it was basically the producers had to agree that Bond would drive the Mustang during a chase scene. It's like, okay, we'll let Bond drive the Mustang. And then they got a bunch of, although there was in the Bond car book I read, there was a letter from Ford saying, we loaned you 12 cars, none of them came back usable. we would like you to pay us an additional $20,000 for these cars. I don't know if they ever did, but the movie made a bunch of money, so you would hope they did. But at the same time, Ford gets so much publicity from that. It's like, just give them the cars.
Yeah. Now, did you notice they went to a gas station, right?
Yes.
Did you notice it was a full-service gas station?
I did.
Yeah,
And not
because
even in New
that was
Jersey.
a thing that existed back in the day.
I do believe they're all still full service in New Jersey.
They are. There might be one other place, I think, where it's... And that's some kind of law, which I don't understand why, but...
Yeah. So they're at the gas station. Tiffany's playing interference while Bond sneaks into the... We'll say it's the Econoline. I like the color on that. It was a nice green.
Yeah.
And then she follows the van with Bond in the back. So now we're at Tektronix, which is a Willard White company. Bond gets in, and we got this Dr. Metz guy who goes in. Bond gets out of the van. Some random scientist guy comes up and uses the pass card, which was a new thing then, so that probably looked cool to kids in 1971, where he put the little
Now
card
it just
in the
looks
slot.
like that annoying thing everyone has to use to get into their office.
Yes, right. So Bond goes into the lab where that Dr. Metz is with the diamonds, pretending to inspect the radiation levels. Metz doesn't want anything to do with him. So Bond leaves, and then there's like an alarm set off because obviously he's an intruder, because the guy that he talked to when he first went in then comes in and says the exact same thing Bond was saying.
He was in G section. The alarm was in
Yes.
G section. Not section
Not
7G.
7G, right.
G section. It's close.
Bond getting away, he interrupts a fake moon landing. Interesting trivia about that fake moon landing. That was the second fake moon landing film. The first one was filmed in 1969.
Classic. But they never explain what the point of this fake moon landing scene was, right? It had to just be some kind of unspoken joke that they're like, people will find this hilarious.
Oh, well, some people think it didn't really happen. Let's say it
Well,
didn't.
I know in real life, right? Obviously, some people. But I thought it was funny. They just do that whole scene without any mention of what's happening there or why.
Yeah. So Bond commandeers the moon buggy.
Of course
This
he does.
chase is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
He drives it out of the building, which, I mean, why are the walls that thin that you could take that moon buggy through the wall and go outside?
Because it didn't even look that durable, right? It did not look like something that you could actually drive on real roads. And even the real moon buggy probably wouldn't have been that great on Earth gravity, trying to drive that fast through the desert where it's bumpy and rocky.
Interesting you should say that. The tires kept blowing up when they were trying to drive through the rocky parts. They had to put like balloon tires in order to get it to work.
Well, I saw one of the wheels goes flying in one of the scenes, and you just see the moon lander wheel just fly through the scene for no reason.
Yes.
But the moon lander is keeping going with
Yes.
4 wheels.
So we get some Fords trying to get the moon buggy, which somehow is able to evade all of them because they all don't know how to drive. The director hated American cars, so he really loved crashing all those Ford cars.
That's funny. But the other thing is, what would be the reason for a moon buggy to be able to drive fast like that?
Sure.
Seems unlikely.
So then we get a bunch of 3-wheelers that come out and start to chase him also. One of the stuntmen got a little cocky with his, and you can see him. There's a scene where he's like flying up in the air and he clearly falls off the bike. Wasn't hurt too bad. He got right back up, but that was definitely not intended. Bond eventually commandeers a 3-wheeler and then meets up with Tiffany and drives off in the Mustang.
Little trivia about 3-wheelers.
Yes.
They're not legal anymore.
Really?
Because they're so dangerous and tippy.
Yeah.
Another trivia, I've driven one before back in the 80s because I had a friend who had one. And let me tell you from experience, they want to tip all the time. They're really not very stable. And so now you can't buy them. They're not legal.
I did not know they were not legal.
Yeah.
I tried to ride one once in the early 90s, and I got my leg caught on the tire.
Yeah, they were just not a great design.
Yeah. So now it's nighttime in Old Vegas, and cops are trying to catch Bond. And this whole chase is ridiculous because they're all like Keystone Cops, which I've never seen Keystone Cops, but I think most people know what Keystone Cops is. It's just a bunch of inept cops that keep crashing their cars. That's exactly what they were doing. The reason it was shot at night, though, is because they didn't have to pay for extra lighting because you're on the old strip and you got all those bright lights. So they called it ambient lighting.
Oh, okay. Well, I wondered, right? Because you got, neon lights, and it definitely looked like they kind of cleared the street out for them or whatever, because I can't imagine the streets being that empty.
Yeah. Bond gets away from all those cars, and then Roscoe P. Coltrane thinks he has Bond trapped.
He does sound like that, doesn't he?
So this is where we get probably one of the most famous scenes in the movie, where he flips the car up diagonally.
On
so
2 wheels.
Yes. And then did you notice that when it came out the other side, it was the other way?
I did not.
Yeah.
That would be tricky to do in an alley like that.
Yes. So because it came out the opposite way, they had to put something in the scene to explain it. So there's a part where Bond jerks the wheel and then they tilt the camera and it makes it look like he tilted the car. Still doesn't make any sense, but
Well, I wonder in real life why they had to do it that way.
that I couldn't figure out.
Yeah.
But they said they couldn't flip the film because then everything would look backwards.
Right.
So we're back at
Still, flipping the car on 2 wheels. I mean, that's pretty good.
only Bond.
Yeah.
We're back at the hotel. See one of those racist statues again. This time it's a female
Oh,
maid
was
of some
there
sort. Yeah, in the
I
lobby.
didn't even notice that. Not cool. I mean, that might have just been in the actual hotel, of course, right? Where they were filming.
So they go to this room and the CIA, Felix Leiter, comes in and they're kind of keeping Bond and Tiffany there. Was she in a bathtub? I couldn't figure that out. Because she was not, I mean, there was no water in it. So I couldn't tell if it was a bathtub or what. Who lounges in an empty bathtub like that? It's so weird.
I do it all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bond decides to go do some spy work. He wants to get to the top of the building and meet Willard White.
The easiest way is obviously to climb the outside of the building.
Well, it is really easy when you have a clear stunt man doing it for you.
Yeah.
And did you notice the guy on top of the elevator as it's going up? That clearly was not Sean Connery. We get our only gadget of the movie, the grappling hook.
Right. I mean, unless you count the fingerprint thing. But that was, that's not much of a gadget. But yeah, the grappling thing. And I mean, that's okay. But Batman already had those, I think, by that time.
Apparently, they got a lot of mail from mountain climbers asking where they could get that gun.
I would imagine so, right?
That was all shot at Pinewood. Surprisingly, Sean Connery wasn't dangling from a 20-story building
No,
to film that scene.
That's not too surprising.
He eventually gets into the top floor, falls into Willard White's bathroom. This bathroom was loaded with stuff. I mean, could you imagine needing a phone or another device with you while you're in the bathroom? It's very unrealistic.
It is. But he had that wild rotating wooden chair that he apparently sat on with all those video screens of his casino.
And there was clearly a camera in that room. So, like, what do you really? You're going to have a camera in the bathroom?
Right. I know, because then they show him on camera.
Yeah.
I know. But I guess it was supposedly the whole Howard Hughes thing where he's just becomes obsessed and doesn't leave his, room for years, and pretty wild.
We get your favorite thing in a Bond movie, the automatic door out of the bathroom.
I noted the electronic door. I mean, super rich people can't be bothered to grab a doorknob and open a door. You have to be able to just have the door open by itself.
Now we get the big reveal that Willard White is actually Blofeld using some fancy device to change his voice. Like that he doesn't explain it. He's like, I'm not smart in those ways. It's just, it works.
Yeah. Okay. So the part that bothers me about that device, both when he does it and when Bond does it, is that the sound you hear in the room is that voice, which clearly all they had to do was like you do, where you show the person on the other end of the phone hearing that voice.
Yes.
You didn't have to shoot in the room. It's distracting for me. It takes me out of the scene because I'm like, why would everyone in the room hear that voice?
We are 100% on the same page with that. I thought the same thing. This is weird. So we have these scenes where we got the two Blofelds. When they're both in the shot together, it's Charles Gray up close, and then the one sitting in the, the director's chair or whatever. Yeah. Have you ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Obviously not.
Of course not. If you look at the guy sitting in the main chair, it looks like the grandpa from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The makeup looks so bad. It just kept distracting me. And then, like, when that one was talking and they were both in the shot together, his lips weren't moving. His head was just like bobbing.
Really?
You need to just look up
Okay.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre Grandpa and then look at that scene again.
So they don't do like the Patty Duke show where it's actually the same person in both parts of the shot that they somehow stitched together. They actually had a person over there far enough away that you weren't supposed to notice it was the same person.
Very unconvincingly. We do get two Mr. Bigglesworths in this one. I thought that was cool.
Yes.
So
it's easy to find two white cats that look pretty much the same, though,
yes.
I imagine.
Bond gets to leave. He gets in the elevator, but then there's like gas in there and it drugs him and knocks him out. So Statler and Waldorf pick him up and take him, instead of just killing him and burying him or something, they put him in some tunnel out in the middle of nowhere. Or in a pipe.
I need to mention before we move on, the cat gets kicked in the spirit of the animals being harmed during the filming of this movie. The cat gets kicked. Is that really necessary?
No. And I should say, when Kid and Wint are driving to the desert, they're going through a tunnel that I read it was inspired by the Hoover Dam, so it looks like one that was from the Hoover Dam.
Okay.
So Bond gets dumped in a pipe, and then the next morning we're in the desert, and Bond is buried in this pipeline, decides to have a conversation with a rat who apparently smells better than Bond.
Right.
I couldn't figure out what this machine was for the longest, coming through the pipe.
Yeah. Well, did you read about it?
I did.
I read.
I know what it is.
Like it's a real thing ish.
It's how they weld the pipes together.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
it did look scary though.
Yes. He hops on the welding machine and escapes through a hatch. And we have a scene with Bond and Leiter where Bond, like you were saying earlier, he's doing the same thing where he's impersonating the casino boss to get information from Blofeld as far as where Willard White's at.
Right.
He gets to see Q again in person this time. He put together this device and he was very cocky about it. I made one for my grandchildren for Christmas last year.
Yes.
And yet it not only changes the voice going through the line, it changes the voice in the actual
in the room. Yeah. He does have one more device, though, coming up.
Yes.
But yeah, they had to fly him all the way out there to use that voice device. And yes, I just couldn't get over the fact that you heard the voice in the room. All they had to do was show the person on the other end of the phone. That's all they had to do.
Bond finds out where Willard White is being stashed, and it's just like his vacation house or something.
Yeah.
This is where we meet Bambi and Thumper, the two women guarding Willard White. I think I said Walter White earlier. That's clearly the guy from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Willard White.
Willard White.
So Bambi and Thumper, yet again, these two were not in the book. These were actual gymnasts.
I would have think they had to be.
They were pretty good. So they gave Bond the Simone Biles treatment. He's getting his butt kicked pretty good. Then they all end up out in the pool, and Bond manages to get a hold of both of them and is just holding them down.
You know, I wasn't a huge fan of the Bambi and Thumper thing. I thought there were too many goofy lines and easy, weird fighting. And then for people who were like totally beating him up, it's very easy for him to just put his hand on top of their head and hold them underwater. They don't think to themselves, well, I could move slightly to the side and, take my head out of his hand and get right back out.
This has been the segment where Charlie questions the logic of a James Bond movie. Thank you for listening.
I do that on every James Bond movie
I know.
or every movie. This is why people hate watching movies with me, Mike.
So they save Willard White. After this movie, Willard White went into witness protection. He was originally called Big Bad John, but then he later became Jimmy Dean, the Sausage King.
Jimmy D. Yes.
Do you remember the song Big Bad John?
I do.
That was a hit for him.
It was.
We get back to the casino, and Q's committing felonies left and right with his little device.
Yes.
You would think somebody would have caught him.
The thing is, he doesn't even collect the money.
No,
He's
he just leaves it in there.
Fascinated that his thing is working. His device is working to win the slots.
Yeah. Tiffany Case notices Mrs. Doubtfire walking across the casino and follows her. And she gets abducted, and it's Blofeld in drag, which seems so unnecessary.
It really does. But this is our second drag event in Bond movies.
Why am I drawing a blank?
The opening sequence I don't remember which one, where at the funeral.
Oh, yeah. Funeral. Okay. Stuntman Bob Simmons.
Yeah.
As that character that had the initials JB. Yes, I remember now. So Willard White is back at his casino. They show the Diamond satellite and show it in action. This is where it destroys a missile in North Dakota. It destroys a Russian submarine, and it destroys Chinese rockets. How about that Chinese soldier catching on fire? So real.
Oh, completely real. Well, even the missiles that are destroyed, they really just kind of turn the frame of the film red, I guess, to show the laser shining on them or something like that from the Diamond satellite.
Bond and White are chatting, and they finally figure out where Blofeld is hiding because there's one thing on White's big map of industry that he's not familiar with. So it's in Baja. So now we go to this oil rig in Baja with Blofeld and Mr. Bigglesworth. And then Blofeld reveals His plot is to destroy all weapons. I mean, yet again, we have Blofeld doing good, and the evil Bond just wants to take him out.
Yeah.
I don't know if I didn't even realize this until the last time I watched it, but that scientist guy, that Dr. Metz, this whole time he thought it really was just destroying the weapons, and he thought he was
Oh,
doing
he
something
thought he was
good.
doing something good.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
We get Bond coming in on an orb, a floating orb.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah.
It was like a hamster ball thing.
Yes.
That he was on the water running or something.
Gets to Blofeld, and then Blofeld makes some comment about searching him from his toenails to every last follicle on his head. What stupid Blofeld doesn't realize is that there's no real follicles on Bond's head at this
Yeah,
point.
right. Exactly.
Bond goes in, he thinks he's betrayed by Tiffany Case, because she's in there in her bikini. Blofeld,
But she'd been taken hostage, right?
well, kind of. I don't think
Sort
Bond
of.
thought she had. I think that
No, he didn't. But,
Yeah.
she got shoved in that Mercedes
Yes.
600 limo,
Yes.
which was pretty sweet, and taken off involuntarily.
Yeah, but they made it seem like she was like, I'm good.
Yeah,
with this.
well, I mean, she seems like a person who just sort of accepts her situation because she was working for Blofeld at one point, right?
Yes.
With the diamond thing.
Right. Blofeld reveals all his plans. He's going to take a giant laser beam and shoot a city. And then he just takes an unnecessary shot at the state of Kansas. He said, if we did this to Kansas, they wouldn't hear about it for years. So we're going to shoot Washington, D.C. instead.
I wonder how this laser that only like blew up one missile at a time is going to take out a whole city.
Right. I want to just say to all of our listeners in Kansas, we hear you, we know you, we support you. We would never, ever say something like that about you.
No. And we would know if Kansas was taken out.
We would. Bond escapes from two very inept henchmen, but then he's dispatched by one ept henchman.
Yeah.
Just gun to the gut, knocks him out. Or gun to the head, knocks him out. That's when the good guys come in and they make their assault. Very similar to on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Like all of them coming in helicopters and shooting the base. I wanted to ask here. So the countdown operator clearly was spoofed in Austin Powers, but I feel like that was the same guy that was in Dr. No.
It could easily have been. Yes.
Uncanny. Of course, the coward Blofeld trying to escape once again when the going gets tough. And that whole scene's just ridiculous with his little submarine where it just keeps getting bounced around and stuff.
Yeah, when it's on the crane.
Yeah.
But also, he's got so many henchmen on that oil rig. And he makes them put him in the thing, which clearly, at this point, they would understand they're putting him in an escape thing and the entire thing is about to blow up. Why would you help the guy leave when you're all about to explode?
We'll never know.
But
We
yes,
don't really-
they throw him around like a wrecking ball.
We don't see ultimately what happens to him. They just kind of keep showing that stuff. But I will say
He's clearly dead.
Oh. Well, we may see Blofeld again very briefly, and then after that, not again for a very long time.
Yeah.
So the day is saved. Blofeld's defeated. Bond and Tiffany are on a ship back home to England. But not quite over yet. They're having, and like you said at the beginning of the episode, that was a very nice room.
Boy, they're in a really sweet cruise ship room, aren't they? With its own, not just a balcony, but like a whole area out there to eat and lounge. And
Yes.
doors that open up to the outside. Yeah.
And then we see Winton Kid come in after we see them looking out the portholes. They might have just been on a romantic getaway, but then they saw that Bond and Case were there, so they're going to try to take him out. So Winton Kid come in with a nice meal. Wint starts preparing the food. Kid starts preparing the drink. And this is where we get some more Bond snobbery, where he, shows up other people about their knowledge of drinks.
Quizzes him about the drinks.
Yes. And he asks, Bond basically says, I, have preferred a claret. And Kid, having no idea about wine, says, "Oh, sorry, the cellar was all out." And the wine that he was serving was actually a claret. And at that point, we're going to go get our claret and we're going to sample that. That's right, people. 4 drinks in this episode.
I know.
Ready to try some Francis Ford Coppola claret?
Definitely. It's good.
Tastes like a red wine.
Yeah.
I don't mind red wine.
No.
They never seem strong enough to me, though.
Really?
Yeah. What's your favorite Francis Ford Coppola movie?
I couldn't tell you. Give me some choices.
The Godfather.
Oh, that's pretty good.
The Godfather 2.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now.
I've only seen part of that. I've never seen the whole thing. I know. I'm so anti-you.
It's amazing.
I know. I would like to see it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, The Godfather. I'll go with that.
Okay, so Bond tricks Kid with his knowledge of fine wines.
Okay, but do you remember why he even knows to trick him?
The cologne?
The cologne.
Yes.
So the whole first part of the movie, they made such a point of showing him put that cologne on. And
yes.
I thought, why do they keep showing him put on cologne? And then a part I didn't understand, when they put Bond in the back of the car, okay, and they're taking him, and you see something fall in the trunk, and I couldn't figure out what it was and how it played into it. And when they pull Bond out of the trunk, you see like a broken thing in there. Well, it must have been the cologne bottle. So Bond has been around that cologne so many times, like in the trunk of the car they put him in, which must have been after they knock him out at the funeral home.
Yes.
And so he has smelled that cologne so many times. And that's why he even knows to quiz the guy, because when he smells the cologne, he knows, oh, these aren't the real waiters. And that's when he catches him on the red wine.
You are upping your game with that. That was a very good observation.
Oh, I just kept thinking, why do they keep showing him spraying this cologne on? Where is this going?
So the unambiguously gay duo realize the jig is up, and Wint, for whatever reason, decides to light 2 skewers on fire and go at Bond with them.
That was pretty awesome.
It was awesome, but it was also terrible. This is almost like a B movie.
It's not going to work, of course, but
yes.
It was kind of hilarious.
So Bond throws some alcohol on him. He's set on fire, and so he has to jump ship.
Not good.
And then Kid starts fighting with Bond, tries to Red grant him from Russia with Love and garrote him. And before I should say, probably one of the reasons I don't like this movie, the acting.
You don't like this movie?
The acting, obviously, but Jill St. John, Tiffany Case, when Wint starts going towards Bond with the skewers, she makes the dumbest reaction.
Yeah.
She goes, "Ew," and it just takes me completely out of the movie.
Yeah, it is a little bit. Her reaction, either as the character or the actress, I don't know which, during that whole fight scene is not good.
Very bad. Bond and Kid go back and forth, and Tiffany Case, tries to throw the cake at him.
Yeah.
And then that's where we see the bomb. And so Bond gets the upper hand and ties the bomb to him. How did he do it? I can't remember.
He grabs his arms, pull them under his crotch from behind, at which point he makes a very weird ow face.
Ooh!
Ooh! And a very weird noise. And then he basically ties the bomb to his hands or puts the bomb in his hand and throws him over.
And then flips him over. And then he
pretty
explodes.
goofy.
It's so goofy. And then we get quip number 3. Well, he certainly left with his tails between his legs.
Yes.
Not bad. Not a bad quip. It's a shame because Wint and Kidd, they weren't able to reenact Titanic before they died up on the front of the
No,
boat.
because yeah. Oh, the King of the World.
Have
I
you
thought you
seen
meant
Titanic?
I have seen
Okay.
Titanic. Yeah, well, there's no door to float on, I was going to say.
Yeah.
And one of them exploded. So,
Right.
can you imagine being on what I thought of course, because I have problems, is I'm thinking of the people who are like on those lower decks, like normal passengers, and there's an explosion right
Right.
outside your room.
Yes.
Like, I mean, that might cause kind of a panic.
And that's it. That's Diamonds Are Forever. Once again, James Bond ends a movie on a boat.
Yeah, I was going to
Sean
say.
Connery, 5 times out of 6, he ends on a boat.
Yeah.
Do you
The
remember
biggest boat so far, probably, right?
Do you remember the one movie he did not end on a boat?
The last one.
No, it
No?
was well. That I'm talking Sean Connery.
Oh, it's Connery. I don't remember.
It was Goldfinger when they take the parachute and they end up on the side of a river with the parachute.
Oh, okay. That's right.
That's it. That's Diamonds Are Forever. It's done. We've slayed the beast.
Whew.
Now we got some trivia. I have always kind of had an opinion of Sean Connery with this movie that A, he was mailing it in, B, he was just doing it for the money. And he kind of was doing it for the money.
I mean, I'd do it for the money.
Well, why not? But he donated his entire salary to establish the Scottish International Educational Trust. I looked up the website just to get a little info. The Scottish International Educational Trust exists to give financial help to Scots, men and women who show exceptional ability and promise.
Wow.
So it's supporting educational initiatives for, people that don't have the means.
Wow.
And reading all of that, my opinion of him went way up. And look, we know he has his issues. He's made his comments, but maybe some of those comments were just comments and didn't really reflect him as a person.
It's very possible.
Because when you hear, like, all the stories I hear about him, everybody loved working with him on these movies.
Yeah.
They absolutely loved it. I'm thinking we maybe do a retrospective of all of the actors at the end of all this, at the end of all of our episodes, where we kind of talk about the actors and maybe just some of their other movies as kind of like an end cap for it, because I'm going to read the Sean Connery biography.
Okay.
I want to learn more. Another trivia item: John Gavin, an American actor, was originally selected by Cubby Broccoli, Harry Saltzman, to be the next James Bond. But the head of the
Next
studio,
James Bond after which? After this?
for this one, this
for
movie,
this one, okay.
yes, they wanted John Gavin to do it, but the studio had already kind of signed a deal with Connery beforehand for him to come back for this one.
You can't have an American.
Could you
do it.
imagine? I can't believe they almost did that. Now, granted, I mean, Broccoli and Saltzman, one of them's Canadian, one of them's American. So, I mean, it's been produced by American Canadians for years, but still.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a British spy. I mean,
Right.
come on.
I believe that Cubby Broccoli did eventually say, yeah, Bond needs to be British.
Yeah.
Tons of deviations from the book. Too many to go into, but there's no SMERSH, which was the Russian spy agency. There's no Spectre. There's no Blofeld. There's no Willard White. There's no Plenty O'Toole. There's no Bambi and Thumper. Basically, the book was really just about diamond smuggling. And Bond was trying to figure out who was doing the smuggling. It was basically like mobsters. Most of the book...
Oh, so it was more like a mystery than it was this
Yes.
type of just going after Blofeld.
And a lot of the book starts... There's no Holland. A lot of the book takes place in New York. And then towards the end, it goes to Vegas. But it's all... The villains are the Spang brothers.
Okay.
And they're just mobsters. So very, very different. Our slap and tickle count, 15. We only get one in this book, or in this movie. It's pretty crazy.
I guess
I mean,
so.
once you get
Plenty
over
O'Toole
40
dies, I guess, before.
Once you get over 40, you just don't have all that much jazz anymore.
Man.
Bond in a Boat count, like I said, is 5. Final thoughts and rating. So this is going to be out of 5 stars. Things I liked. I don't know. I mean, I will say, watching it 3 times this week, I don't hate it as much as I thought I did. I just think it's so goofy. I think the quips are pretty good. I think I chuckled at parts and it wasn't like I was hate watching the movie, but things I
It can't
didn't
be
like.
as goofy as like Moonraker, right? I mean, come on, right?
Things I didn't like. I mean, the acting by both of the Bond girls just annoyed me. I didn't think Jill St. John was that great. I mean,
She wasn't that great. It neither was as good as, Bond's wife in the last one.
Diana Rigg, yeah.
Yeah.
Not even
she
close.
was way
Not even
better
close.
and way more of a likable character.
Yeah. This movie's trashed on Letterboxd too, which is the
Really?
side. I mean, it's like a 2.9, but that's not great. I'm at 2 stars. I think that it's. I don't hate it so much that I won't watch it, but I don't get a lot of joy out of watching it. It's just so goofy. So I'm at 2 stars. So what'd you like about this movie?
I mean, it had the main Bond elements in it, but I didn't love it. Might have liked Jimmy Dean more than most of the other actors. I don't like this Blofeld very much. I don't find him as good as maybe any of the other Blofelds we've had so far. I mean, Bond is still Bond. Plenty O'Toole doesn't really enter into very much at all. There's not much to it. And yeah, the villains, I mean, Wint and Kidd they have some funny quips,
But
right?
they're so goofy.
They are goofy.
Too
They
goofy.
have their little in jokes with each other and stuff, but it's really unnecessary. So, yeah, I mean, there wasn't a ton to love. It was fine. It was fine, but it's nothing special.
What's your rating?
I said 3 stars.
3 stars.
I'll give it 3.
Okay.
I don't know. Part of the problem is I got to think about where other ones are going to go, but yeah.
Okay. So let's go to rankings now.
Oh my gosh.
So we'll start with the movie. Obviously, I gave it 2 stars. Therefore, it is now dead last, number 7.
I guess for me too, I gave it 3, and that still puts it in that
yeah.
spot.
So we're both dead last. Spoiler alert. Nothing's going to get lower than this.
Is that right?
I'm just going to say it. This is my least favorite
Well, see,
Bond
I don't
movie.
know. Part of my problem is that I don't remember every single other thing. I can't imagine I'm going to like Moonraker better than this, but we'll see.
Look, Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig all have some stinkers too.
Yeah.
But nothing is like this one.
Okay, we'll see.
Bond girl ranking. So Tiffany Case. I'm going to put her at 9. So I'm going to put her below Kissy Suzuki. Because at least Kissy Suzuki did some cool stuff. She was helping Tanaka spy in You Only Live Twice.
Yeah.
Tiffany Case, the acting just did not do it for me. Plenty O'Toole, not in it a lot. I think you still have to call her a Bond girl, but she's dead last.
Yeah, I'd put her last because not much happens, right? I mean, she's there barely at all. Practically without the name, you wouldn't even remember she exists. That honestly, and that's up to the writers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would definitely put her last.
So where would you put Tiffany Case?
Tiffany Case, I'm going to put at 10 on my list.
Okay.
She's okay. She's in a lot of the movie, but she doesn't do much to advance anything. You know what I mean? She's sort of there. She's sort of playing both sides. And just like you said with the scene on the boat, she really doesn't. When there's a call for action, she doesn't do anything.
Her best scene was when she has the machine gun and starts shooting and then just skips off the back of the boat. That was pretty
Yes,
funny. Or
that's
back of the
right.
rig. That was funny. Villain ranking. So Blofeld, I have him at number 1 right now. Does he stay at number 1 after this one? He's such
Well, you almost need to rank each Blofeld. That's part of the problem, right? Is that
yeah.
he's not a great. I don't love him as Blofeld, and maybe it's because I'm still distracted that it's the same actor that's been in other things.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He doesn't seem as menacing as the other
Right.
Blofelds, right? So it's a. I don't know how to do that, right? If I had each Blofeld on here, which
So
I
I'm going to
don't.
take them collectively for now, and then maybe
Alright,
at some
that's
point
fine.
we'll talk about each Blofeld individually.
Yeah,
I'm going to put him at
think.
number 3 now. So
Okay.
I'm going to put Red Grant and Emilio Largo above him because they're both cooler.
Yeah, they are. But overall, if I'm taking the average of all the Blofelds, I'm still going to keep it at 1.
Okay. Fair enough.
Even though he definitely tries to pull it down.
These guys are not going to be separate, so we're going to go with the unambiguously gay duo as one villain. And I am going to put them at number 7, which is below Odd Job, but above Helga Brandt. I liked Helga Brandt, but she didn't do much. She was in You Only Live Twice. She was the CEO guy's
Yeah, I
assistant.
agree. I agree with you. I mean,
They're so goofy
they may
and
not
stupid.
be perfect, but they are in a lot of the movie, and they're an integral part of the movie.
And
I
they
do
are
think it's weird you never see them with Blofeld. Like, in a
Yeah.
sense, do you really know they're working for Blofeld? Obviously, they are, but it's very weird.
as goofy and stupid as they are, they're still funny at times.
They're still funny at times. I think when I was younger and I saw this movie, number one, I'm not sure I understood the gay part when I first saw the movie. And they had some funny lines, which you
Yes.
just took at face value and were kind of funny. So, yeah, they're okay.
Barely a sidekick in this. I mean,
I was
Felix
gonna
is
say,
in
I
it.
don't even know how
It's
to.
just Felix, but
He's
I don't.
in there for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think he changes.
No,
Um,
no,
Quirrell's. I still like Quirrell better.
yeah,
Later on, maybe we get a little more of a Felix that he can rise a little bit.
yeah.
We'll get the important one, the quip ranking. I think we choose 2.
What do you got for us?
So I think we choose 2 quips.
All right.
I think we go with providing the collars and cuffs match. I think that's pretty funny. So I would put that one number 6, which is right below just a slight stiffness coming on. And then our other one is going to be looks like you've caught me with more than my hands up, which is very similar to just a slight stiffness coming on. So I'm going to put that
in
one.
the grand scheme, yeah.
I'm going to put that one at number. Or I'm sorry. Collars and cuffs, I'm going to put. Sorry. Yeah. I'm going to put collars and cuffs at 6, and then I'm going to put that one at 7. For some reason, I keep coupling the quips from each movie so that they're together in the rankings almost always.
I've almost done that too, but mine are different order than yours. I am going to put these lower than you.
Okay.
I'm going to put them at 10 for More Than My Hands Up and 11 for Collars and Cuff.
Okay. Fair enough. Gadget ranking. So we have just the gun, just the grappling gun. I mean, that's not as cool as the safecracker / photocopier. So I'm putting that dead last, number 6.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've already seen Batman have
Yes.
this, right? So it just doesn't do much for me.
So would you also say last?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would.
Here's the interesting one, the theme song. It's a pretty good theme song. I am going to put I'm going to put Diamonds Are Forever at 3rd, right below Goldfinger. I still think Goldfinger is the better Shirley Bassey so far.
I am going to put it at 2nd on my list. It's still behind Goldfinger.
Oh yeah, because you didn't put We have all the time in the world, aside.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's one that I easily, if you tell me to think of a Bond theme aside from Goldfinger, this one I definitely think of.
Oh, just you
But
wait
there are going to
until
be
one
some
of the
good
later
ones.
ones.
There are going to be some good ones from my era.
Speaking of which, next episode, Live and Let Die. We got a new Bond, a young, hip, fresh Bond that's a year older than Sean Connery. So we will see you all next time for Live and Let Die. Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bottled in Bond. If you'd like to send us a message, you can do so at bottledinbondpod@gmail.com. Till your next briefing, pour yourself a drink, light a smoke, and find yourself a spirited companion. Goodbye.